Well, hello there. My name's Susan Hamilton, and you're watching OffBeat Business TV. And today I have Suzanne Johns with Dallas Real Estate Investments.
Hi, how
I'm
are you?
so excited to have you here.
Well, I'm just thrilled to be here.
You're listening to the OffBeat Business Show, rebuilding American business influence locally, nationally, and abroad, bringing you experienced insight for a strong, influential brand and successful life in business. Here's your host, Susan Hamilton.
You know, Suzanne is the host of Business First Responders. You're probably listening to because you can't get enough of it. There's some really great information going out on that podcast on a regular basis. And before we get started, I'm going to point out that she just crossed the 50 mark with clients that she has helped make over $1 million. So when we're talking with Suzanne Johns, we're not talking about somebody who's just dabbling in business. She's well known in this community and has a lot that she can help us understand about our communication and our networking, and also for funding. So we've got a lot of topics to talk about. Pay close attention because we're holding on to our seat. Here we go. Here's Suzanne.
Oh my God, yeah.
So how did the whole Business First Responders come about? Because that's such a great concept, and you've really chose some great co-hosts.
Yeah, I am a collaborator, and I really work at networking, and that my whole business is nothing but referral based. So it was very important for me to be able to work with guys that I knew would bring something different, but still valuable to the table. And I work with businesses all the time. I'm not just a real estate broker, a commercial real estate broker, and investment broker. I also sell businesses. So what started all this was my phone started ringing off the hook on March the 17th, right after we had our first shutdown. And it was, oh my God, I need to sell my business right away. And I'm one of those unusual, I think, unusual brokers that, yeah, I'd love to make a commission and sell your business, but the first knee-jerk reaction is maybe we need to reevaluate this. Why do you need to bail? Maybe there's something we can salvage.Maybe we can change something that you're doing so that you can still be able to survive this. And at first, it was only 2 weeks. I don't know if you remember that, but at first it was only 2 weeks. And then it was all of a sudden it was to the end of the month. And then all of a sudden it was to Easter. And it kept getting longer and longer and longer. And so the calls kept coming a lot more quickly and a lot more panicked as far as that went. And when that started happening at the very beginning, I was sitting there at night watching Fox TV, and my husband said, you ought to do something about this. These people are freaking out, but nobody's talking about the voice of reason. I said, well, that sounds to me like a good thing to have a podcast about. And that's how Business First Responders came about.
Yeah, they do need a voice of reason. It was very, very scary. I experienced that with you the night before my husband and I had gone out to eat, and it's the first we realized it was impacting business. There was no one out, and we felt kind of spoiled. It was a Friday night, and nobody was in the restaurant, and we were going, "Hey, baby, it's just us. We got the whole place to ourselves." Only to realize within 48 hours that that's not what happened. Businesses were slowing down. We were about to be stuck in our homes, and my husband was about to have to move everything out of his office and take over the bedroom. It now looks like NASA with all the monitors. And we're, at the time of this recording, a lot of this is still going on for many businesses.
Well, and the other thing that we needed to do, I work with a lot of funding, especially when I'm helping businesses get off the ground. And the next thing that we ran into is what you don't realize. I keep very strong contact with a lot of the different committees that are here in Dallas, with the Restaurateur Association.
Excellent.
And then the Retail Association. And so the first thing I did was get on the phone with them, and they said, we want you to realize that most small businesses, which are either from your mom and pops to your medium size, they usually only have 2 to 3 weeks of operating capital before it's critical. And you don't think about that. So when all of a sudden you don't have those people coming in the door, that capital is now being drained. And then how do you you're thinking, how do I keep my people? Right. And how do I pay my bills? And how do I pay my rent? Now all of a sudden everything is collapsed on you. So that's when I got very, very involved with the PPP loans and for the other fund and grant that we get a hold of, and then the business loans as well. Unfortunately, a lot of the bigger companies gobbled up some of that money that should not have gotten it in the first place, which that's another issue. We'll talk
Right.
about that.
We could do another episode on
Yeah,
this,
we
and
could.
it could happen.
But what I had to do was be able to find bankers that would open their doors and talk to my people, my business owners that needed money, and they needed it now, and they would at least be willing to help them go through the process. And I could pull all sorts of information off online, but I didn't know if I was doing it exactly the way they needed it submitted, because with any other government red tape you've got, if you don't submit it exactly the way they want it, it gets kicked back, which doesn't help you any, because you just wasted whatever week, 2 weeks, 10 days that you were trying to get that money for. So every, not just day was critical, but every hour was critical for them. So I started working on that, and that's how it kind of gravitated its way to.
Well, they need it. I'm so grateful you talk about it. I'm so grateful you get out there and go, this is what you need to do right now. And that's your attitude about everything.
Yes.
You take one look at this and you go, okay, this now move. This is what you do. This is what you need. And every time we record your podcast, that's how you come to the table. You come to the table with, okay, this is our list, and here's what we're going to go. This is what we're going to deal with. We're going to make sure we cover these points today. And that's important, especially when we're looking at, okay, maybe it's time to look at closing the business. And who can I talk to about those things, right? Because not everyone's going to be in a good position for that,
right?
But it's possible to become in a good position for that.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize when they have a business, they've more than likely you've found a way with your CPA. Usually you have one. It's not one you're using, Uncle Ed over on the side.
Yeah.
But you've found a way to be able to deduct everything you possibly can. Mm-hmm. So now the cars are paid for, and now you have, the extra school supplies paid for, and you have all these other things that you put into the bucket that are in the business that the business is now deducting, but then that devalues the business if we are going to sell it. So then I have to go through the financials with you and say, okay, tell me about these. Tell me what these things entail, so I'll know whether or not a future buyer will say, well, I'm not going to have my cars in there. I'm not going to have all of these other expenses that you expect you're going to have. I don't need them. Now I can put it back in and give you a benefit of a higher worth for the company. And then you can sell for more money. And maybe you're going to go into another business. Maybe you're going to retire, whatever it is, but I need to be able to give you that ability. And if you are going to retire, then more than likely I'm going to put you into a real estate investment that's going to make you money and spin off money that way so that you have passive income.
Well, that's interesting. It looks to me like you develop a relationship with people so that you can really speak into these parts of their business. That's
sure.
It's pretty personal.
Oh, absolutely. Usually they become very, very close friends. Yeah. And, it's one of those things that we have a fiduciary relationship. It's not something that I discuss with anybody. It is all strictly confidential, so that I know just about as much about that business as they do. And then we can work from that spirit of trust and that we're both on the same team.
So how long does it take? I mean, by the time someone's talking to you about this, by the time they realize that they could possibly experience a significant demise and maybe it's better to sell, and they start reaching out to you, I mean, what does it look like? How long does it take before they start? How long does it take to get into a good position, into a better position?
It really can take as long or as short a time as you want. If we are going to If you and I get together and we discuss this and we just know that there's no way it's going to be salvageable for you, or that you really have decided I'm done, I'm moving on, and get me out of here with as much money as I can get, then we're going to sit down immediately and I call all of the players who are involved and we sit down at a table and we go through everything together, and we'll do that within 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
So if you need it and it's something that has to happen, then we do it right away. And then we hit the market with it, and everybody that comes to us as a buyer then signs a confidentiality agreement so that anything I share, they can't share anywhere else, nor can anything belong to them. So if I were able to let them see some particular paperwork, they have to give it back, or it's actionable in a court of law. So it's something we take very, very seriously from that standpoint, because businesses are all about your goodwill, and that has to do with the public's perception.
Yes.
So as soon as the public or your employees know that you're for sale, you start your downward slope, and you don't want to ever have that to be happening. So I'm getting ready to list an RV park, and he doesn't want anyone to know, nor should they, but I have buyers that will look at that type of an investment. So before anything happens, before anybody knows that there's a transition coming, I will have already had buyers lined up that we can talk to about it, and I've already taken pictures, and they never will even walk on site.
Interesting, because I happen to know somebody right now that's very interested in doing that also. So not a commodity, it looks like. But you know, those are those things that it'll be interesting to see what happens in the marketplace, won't it? Because a lot of people are going to, because sometimes they just decide it's time to do something else, right? Sometimes it's time to,
absolutely.
Wow, I've been through enough. I've had some time to be introspective, and maybe this isn't what I want to do anymore.
Oh, it happens. Especially, I see it happen a lot when you have a husband and wife that have decided they can't work it out anymore.
Oh, like a divorce then.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anytime you have a divorce involved, or if you have an estate involved, where the mom and dad started the business and it was their lifeblood and their heart and it's their passion, but they're passing away or they're getting too old and the kids don't really have any reason why they want to continue. So now all of a sudden you have children that are going to take over, and one or two things are going to happen when that occurs. The children are either going to let it just slide. If they don't have the passion, they're going to let it slide and it'll die. Or they're going to fight amongst themselves about how much they can get and who gets how much.
And nobody wants that. That's not comfortable no matter what. Those are just really difficult times. So you can help them position themselves better.
Yes.
And they can get into the best possible position where they can get on with their life and get on with the dream they really have, right? On the thing that they really want to do with their life. So when you're working with people, you've got a broad reach. You're all over DFW. When you look at business brokerage, do you have a particular region for that?
No. Not at all.
Are you so all over Texas?
I'm a real estate broker, so I can go anywhere in the state of Texas.
And you've got history with commercial real estate, commercial properties as a GC even. So you understand what it looks like to build and to put all those pieces together. That's really an interesting skill set. You know that's unique, right?
I come from a group of gentlemen that my husband, his dad, and my son are all in commercial construction, and we used to be home builders for 15 years.
Oh, my goodness. Well, are you enjoying Suzanne as much as I am? Listen, we've got to take a break, and we'll be right back, and we'll hear more from Suzanne Johns.
The American business economy is positioned as it has never been before. Professional videography is a core element for attracting a higher level of engagement with the people group you need for significant impact. Now is your time to shine. My name is Bill Brock, owner of White Rock Films, and I invite you to a powerful opportunity in the marketplace, an opportunity to draw excited people to your events, an opportunity to showcase your ideas on infrastructure, an opportunity to become known as the industry authority and enjoy the associated benefits of a strong, influential brand. Video highlights, video teaches. Video puts a resistant market at ease, and video stirs the hearts and imaginations of your allies and strategic client base. White Rock Films offers full audio, video production for businesses ready to embrace the future, handling your project with professionalism, experience, and polish unheard of in the industry. My name is Bill Brock, and White Rock Films wants your business. See us online at whiterockfilms.com.
And we're back. My name is Susan Hamilton. You're watching Offbeat Business TV, and I'm here with Suzanne Johns. And we've been talking about the myriad of history that she has, understanding construction and business sales and commercial real estate. Oh my goodness, you bring such a wealth of information to business first responders and the OBBM network. We are thrilled to have you here.
Well, thank you.
And now to learn you're also women
business enterprise.
That's a little bit different than the other certification, isn't it?
You can be a WBE and C, and you can be a WBE.
Okay, so they're WBE.
Yeah,
all right.
WBE and C.
And tell us a little bit about why that's important. I get it that there's some great contracts you have access to with the right certification. Why?
It depends on the business that you're in, but all you have to do is get onto whatever your local or your state or even the U.S., as far as that goes, websites, and you can see what contracts they're going to be bidding. And if you're looking for that type of work and you want to have an edge to be able to win those contracts against others that have been in the business forever or for years longer than you, if you have those certifications, you stand a far better chance. Because in especially in a lot of states, 25% of those government contracts must go to either a minority-owned business or a woman-owned business. So you want to be in that top 25%.
Yes.
So if I'm bidding against XYZ guy that's a home builder, general contractor, or he owns a manufacturing company or whatever it is, if they're going to be somebody that wants, the government said, we're going to make these widgets. Well, if I have a manufacturing company and I happen to be a woman and I'm bidding against a guy that has same type of business and he can bid against that contract as well, even if I am totally off on my numbers and he underbids me by, I don't care however much, because I'm a woman, because I'm WBE, I win it just because of my certification. So it is very, very important for you. If you want to get a leg up on your competition, that's what you want to do.
That's huge because these contracts are out there. I mean, there's work out there.
There are.
And that's what's frustrating. I think we both recognize this in the community. There is work.
Mm-hmm.
There is business. The things that have stopped those things from happening were out of our control, but we can dig a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And when we know people, we can get plugged into the contracts. But you're right, it's all about setting those things up right.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Making sure we're in the best possible position.
And it doesn't take too much. It will take you about 90 days to get WBE certified. And then there's also a process where they actually physically come out and meet you and talk to you so that they know you, number one, you exist. And then they go through all of your paperwork because there are submittal things that you need to do. And you can find all of that online. So that is not hard to do.
No, excellent.
Just Google WBE and it'll give you all of the information you need to be able to apply and get approved. But the other thing that's kind of important, which you don't realize, I would go to expos and conventions with other larger, like we were in commercial construction and we weren't very big. And so I knew I couldn't bid on a $60 million project because I just didn't have the ability to get that liability insurance.
Okay.
Plus, I didn't have the manpower to be able to build it anyway.
Right.
But somebody else that is that big does have the ability to do that. And so if you go to these places, then they are looking for someone, and you could sign up to become one of their collaborators or affiliates so that they use you and your certification to win the bid. You still get to get a 25% part of the deal. $60 million, 25% is pretty darn good.
Right?
I'm all over it.
Yes.
I don't mind somebody else actually putting their money and their manpower up. I don't have the ego that's going to stand in the way, but I certainly will be happy to, cash that check when it comes in. So they will collaborate with you, and they'll do that on a regular basis. They are looking for that because it's the only way they can win those bids if they put somebody else in that has the WBE or a minority certification.
That is so important. I mean, it's all about the
huge.
positioning, isn't it?
It's all about positioning. If you're going after that kind of contract, you want that.
Friends, I hope that you're getting fired up about what you can do in the community right now. Wherever it is in your business, you may have been struggling and wonder, hey, should you go forward? You know what? You probably ought to talk to Suzanne because you've seen a thing or two.
I've only been doing this 42 years.
Oh my goodness. And I think it's a great track record to turn back and look back over your shoulder and go, yeah, last January we brought our 50th person into the Millionaire Club. And that's a beautiful thing to be able to say you've been able to do in
It's
the community.
heartwarming, actually. I love it because that way it gives a lot of people their retirement money. I think to me, that's the best. I'm getting to that age now, so I'm like, well, yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm happy I was part of that.
Well, wherever you are in business, you might be needing a swift kick in the butt. You might need to look at, seriously, should you still be doing what you're doing? Did you lose your passion? Is there a family situation that's happened or a great financial crisis that you just can't overcome? If those things are the case, you need to get with Suzanne for any of that because you probably know someone they need to know.
It's a high likelihood. And one of the things is I'm not there and never have been because of the commission. I'm there because I'm going to either make your situation better or make your life better, one of the two things. That's the most important thing to me. And all of my business is referral only. So I don't advertise anywhere. I don't go out and look for it. It comes to me, and thank God for that. I can't sleep at night if I don't put you into a situation that I would appreciate from myself, then I don't need to be doing it for you either.
That's really sweet, Suzanne. That's important. And friends, you want to hear her voice a little bit more. Make sure you download the OffBeat Business app. You can get business first responders. You can get this interview and really get connected to the voice of what Suzanne Johns is doing here. You can also connect with them on business first responders on Facebook on their business page and on LinkedIn, right? And those are some fabulous connections in LinkedIn, right? And I think businesses at this stage of their game might even more likely be there,
right?
Where it's time to start making decisions. They've been in business for a while and they're looking a little more seriously at what their options are. So get connected with Suzanne. How else can they reach you?
They can definitely always text me. I am either one, but 972-639-6396 or SJ at bizbrokersdallas.com or SJ at dallasrei.com, which is Dallas Real Estate Investments.
Excellent. And if you're driving down the road, you didn't get a chance to write that down, you'll find all of that information accompanying this video and this podcast. So you're going to be able to find it. We're going to be promoting this. And we want you to get in touch with Suzanne Johns. Let's get this community back up. That it could look very different in the next couple of months.
Yes.
And it could look very, very different and very, very good for you. Until next time, you've been watching OffBeat Business TV, listening to the OBBM Network podcast or OBBM Radio Dallas. My name is Susan Hamilton. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the OffBeat Business Show. Find our lineup, podcast, magazine, event calendar, and sponsor information, even our membership directory, all available on the OffBeat Business app or at offbeatbusiness.com. Download the OffBeat Business app today.